Hey everybody, welcome to the Multiverse Show. Greatest show on Mondays. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a good show lined up for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning into a good lineup here. Just a second while I turn off. Hey everybody, welcome to the Multiverse reverb crap because I had everything pulled up already. All right, so good stuff here. First, we do our introductions. Back from the arena. Finally making his return to the Multiverse Show, triumphant after besting COVID-19, Mr. Fame Entertainment, the Titan of Texas. Welcome back, sir.
Your COVID ain't got nothing on me. Let's go. Yeah, buddy.
All right. So I'm finally glad for you to be back, man. Believe me, we've been praying for you about every week, just waiting for you to come back. I'm so glad you're back, and everything's back to normal for the most part, as much as normal can be.
I appreciate it. I do, man. I'm back. I'm full of energy. Got a new leash on life. I got a second chance. I'm pumped, and I'm ready to. I'm happy back with my bros, man. Like I really missed you guys. I tried to get in and listen to every episode I could, man. I was excited to come back next week. I was like, Anchor, what time is the show? Like, I'm ready to get back to it. And then realized it was an off week. So, like, I'm super excited to be back with you every episode I could, man. I'm ready to kick ass. I really am.
All right. And we also have the Caesar of Cinema himself, Mr. James Wilson, holding it down. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah. I'm doing all right. It's nice and chill, even though the government's very inept right now in the UK. But apart from that, I'm watching films. I'm actually playing video games, as crazy as that may be.
Ooh,
and I am, and you know what? More than anything else, I've never missed being pretend beat up more than in my life. I need to go back to wrestling training. I miss it so much.
Yep. All right, and we also have the White Wolf, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey everybody, it is good to be here. It's good to finally have my bro Fame back in here. Can't wait for him to, make us all yearn for him to shut up when he gets going about Horizon Zero Dawn again. But it's good to have you back, man. It is really good to have you back. It just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same not having you here. We got some interesting topics to go through. I know right now it's the calm before the next gen storm, but there's still some good tidbits. So let's get in on this.
All right, and we also have the Duke of Dallas, or the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Mr. Dizzy. How you doing, sir?
What's going on? I'm back, and I got bones to pick with Anchor about things that I was not forewarned about, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, so let's get things started. Mike is working late tonight, so he will not be gracing us with his presence this evening. But let's get things started. First off, the question we always ask every single week, what have you guys been playing? James, it's my understanding you actually played something this week. What have you been playing, sir?
Yeah, I played and finished Middle-earth: Shadow of War. I had played about 5 hours worth last time we spoke, but now I've played and finished it. Haven't 100%ed like all the trophies and everything. But I had a great time once I realized that the game is better when you make your own fun with the Nemesis system, and I forgot how much fun that could be from the first one. So I just had a great time creating my own narratives and forging alliances and deep hatreds of certain orcs that will two-horn you bitch. Yeah. I fought this same orc captain, not even an overlord or a war chief, just a captain. I fought him 7 times before I got. It was a nightmare, but a nightmare I'm never going to forget. So there you go.
Hey, that's fun. All right,
and I replayed Uncharted because it was on PS Plus, and it's still great. I regret giving it a 10 out of 10, but it's still awesome.
All right. So I know we're going to talk about Fallout 76 a little bit later, so I'm going to hold off impressions and stuff about it later. But Dizzy, what have you been playing, sir?
I actually been playing Fallout 76, but I wanted to give Yakuza 0 a go. Actually really enjoying that. I'm glad that I got it on Game Pass. Story's awesome. It kind of makes me think of it sounds really weird, but like a gangster soap opera. Aside from that, I've also been playing Good Job on the Switch. Nice little fun-hearted game.
Good job.
That's what I've been playing. Yeah, really good job. I'm just really confused on. I don't know if I'm supposed to do more damage, and I get a better ranking, or if I'm supposed to do less damage. But I just see like dollar signs going up, and I'm like, "Hey, this looks fun. It's my dad's company. Who cares? I'm just gonna knock this vase over."
Yeah. All right, Fame, sir, what you been playing?
Of course, I haven't been gaming as much as I would like because of, certain things. But I have been able to get back into some River City Girls, which I absolutely love that game. To me, it's just stupid fun. I've just got my 100% on Children of Morta, which, God, that game is just so good. I recommend anyone to go play Children of Morta. Such a freaking good game. So I just got the 100% on that one maybe 2 days ago. And then now my son came to me and said he wanted to play some Halo. He wants the whole story, so we're getting ready to start Halo 2E.
A proud
He is about to become a man. Good for him.
I'm super excited about that. I told him we're going to get through all the games, including ODST and Reach. If he wants the story, I'm going to give him as much of the story as possible. So I'm super excited to get that started here, hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, man, that's pretty much about it for me.
You're not going to play Halo 5?
Oh yeah, we're gonna play every Halo game. So we got Halo 1 through 5, ODST, and Reach.
Does he get to be Locke or no?
Oh, he can be Locke. He can be Locke.
Are you going to make him play the Halo Wars games?
That, if he wants to, I won't even play that. You know what I did? Because I heard the story and the cinematics were so great for that. I watched the cinematics and got the story on YouTube because I'm not an RTS guy. So if he wants to decide he wants to do RTS, he's more than welcome. But and the way my brain functions, will not be playing that.
Let me say this, Fame. With Infinite coming around the corner, it might be a good idea to refresh him on Halo Wars 2, at the very least. Hint, hint.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, I mean, if he wants to play it, if he wants to get it how I get it from YouTube, he can. If he wants to play it, he is more than welcome. I just won't be no part of it. I am just not into RTS. I've tried, and I just can't do it. Nothing wrong with the game genre itself. It's one of those things where it's like, nah, that's not fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. I've been playing Fallout 76, and we'll talk about that actually in the next little segment there. So I've been playing Fallout 76. We'll get into that. I've been playing Doom Eternal. I finally got in the groove where it's like, all right, now I'm able to clear out things like one by one, and it finally clicked, and now I'm just kind of breezing through it. So that works on that front. Okay, so first off, before we get started, we have to do our little corporate chill segment, and I just realized it does not have the right topics or anything on there.
Shameful display.
1 minute. Let me see if it's gonna let me update in the meantime. I feel ashamed. I am so sorry. I failed everyone. 1 minute.
I don't know about how much you know about corporate shills, but where I come from, honor and respect are a huge part of this culture. You just shot yourself in the foot. You know that.
I know. I'm doomed.
Are you trying to get our funding cut or something by putting the wrong stuff up? What's wrong with you?
Ideally, I think that is what he's doing.
All right, is it up there? Does it show up now?
It is still the exact same thing.
Really?
So no.
Dang it, man. 1 second. Maybe it's a second behind. I'm gonna check on there. I just realized halfway through, I was like, oh. Huh. That's not right.
It's times like this that I remind you that just about every 2 weeks I say, hey, why don't we pre-record the podcast?
Never.
And then this
you
will all be
die.
avoided.
But James, here's the problem. You're right, but then he'd find new and cool, unusual ways to mess things up in that case. It's just how we roll. Come on.
Yeah.
But I've offered to edit it, so
Never.
then all the problems would be my fault.
And then he'd reintroduce them after you're done editing.
I'd
This
be like,
is how we roll.
Not sure about this. Let me delete. Let me mess it up on purpose here.
Why'd you include last week's audio?
It's updated now. Okay, good. Whew. All right.
Well,
It's fixed now. Go ahead.
Mucking things up is the theme, anyways, as this week we are supposedly being sponsored by Shinra Corporation. Remember, when you're fracking the planet, literally ripping it apart to fund your massive bio-capitalist weapons organization that also supplies power, there's nothing like modern-day serfdom and selling people slave wages in order to keep them attached to your company. Shinra Corporation, because you don't have any other choice.
All right. So, next little bit here. I know, at least this particular little bit, we've been kind of all over the place. It says movies are basically dead right now. I mean, we could have watched Trolls.
You know what?
The Trolls World Tour was a really good movie, so we would not have any poppy slander.
Like, yeah, I'm with Fame on it. Legit, Trolls, completely inoffensive. They're fine films.
All right. So, I know we guys are all over the place. James, I know that they put up Phantom for like a week because they knew Lulu was doing that for this the coronavirus. They were putting that up there.
Yes,
so what did you
Angela Weber's. I didn't need to rewatch it because I have that production on DVD. But I did rewatch it because I thought that a bunch of people were going to watch it and we were going to talk, like we said we would live on air.
I know it was my fault. It was my fault.
Hey James, you'd find ways anyways.
Because you have so many things to do. #burn.
I mean, I'm still working, by the way.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I love Phantom of the Opera because I discovered it when I was 13 and thought it was the coolest, edgiest thing I'd ever seen. And I didn't realize till I was much older that it's the campiest, stupidest, most 80s thing that is still around. But it's great, and this production is considered by many to be the absolute best version that is available because there's this and the film is terrible. With Gerard Butler, who's singing. Gerard Butler is singing. We'll never forgive that. Running Grimlu.
Go ahead.
Go.
Sorry.
Question? No. Go.
Is it okay for me to say that in spite of what you just mentioned, I still like that adaptation?
I have a soft spot for it. I think there are things that it does visually and
aesthetically
that does make it very, very easy to watch, which is not the case with a lot of movie adaptations of musicals. So I applaud it for that thing, but it's a musical and people need to sing well. This is why I don't like the Les Mis film as well. Or
Touché.
But I like Cats, but I don't like Cats. We can't get into that now.
We can't.
This production of Phantom is considered the best because, frankly, it's got the best ever Phantom in it. Ramin Karimloo, an Iranian-born singer who moved to America and just got big on Broadway, and a woman called Sierra Bogues, who played Christine in the sequel to Phantom, and then transferred to London to play Christine in the original Phantom. It's a whole thing. Because this is the 25th anniversary concert at the Royal Albert Hall, so when the show is finished, it's a semi-staged production because they can't do all of the stage magic because it's not built for that. But incidentally, the production of Phantom in London is not the oldest running musical in London, that's Les Mis, but it's the same production. Like, it's never changed theatre, it's never changed style, producers, costume, it's been the same for 30 plus years, which is very, very impressive that it's managed to remain current, and that was evident during the show. I urge you all to watch it. Unfortunately, you can't on YouTube anymore because it wasn't on. I assumed it was going to be on for a whole week. It turned out it was just for the weekend.
Aww.
I don't know what show he's putting up next week, so I can't recommend it. But knowing him, it'll probably be Starlight Express, or it might be the staged version of Cats from the 90s, which is a trip and a half. But yeah, Phantom of the Opera, still good, still a bit edgy if you're 13, and no way near the best musical he's done, or the best musicals around.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I know on the movie front, I know I've been watching other stuff I wouldn't normally watch. I watched Death of Stalin the other day. It's pretty good.
Isn't that great?
It only ruins it if you actually know the history and know what happens. It's like, oh, I mean, it's still funny as hell, like it really, really is. But
Yeah.
it
From the writer of Veep, what did you expect?
yeah, yeah, questionable. Anyway, good movie. Good fun if you're kind of into like a black comedy, or rather a dark comedy, but also you're also into historical sphere. It's very enjoyable to watch, but it's got that level of political intrigue as well. So anyway, moving right along. So first topic for the evening. I know we put it off a little bit. Fallout 76. Fallout 76 finally got an update that they delayed from last year into this year with Wastelanders. And Dizzy, I kind of want you to take point on this, namely because you're someone who played it for a little bit and then stopped playing it and now have come back. I kind of get your impressions on this.
The impressions that I've gotten is I shit my pants. And this is mainly because you didn't warn me that there's stalkers in this game. But we'll get to that here in a second. Yeah, when the game first came out, I wanted to wait for the price drop. I waited for the price drop. I got it on a price drop because it didn't take very long for that to happen. But it just didn't. It didn't have that charm, that Fallout charm that it's known for, which was kind of a bummer. So I didn't really stay glued to it like I would normally with like survival games, because that's my genre. That's what I like. That's likely why I like Grounded, and from what I see, because of it being a survival style game. So when Wastelanders dropped, I wanted to give it a try, see how it was. And luckily, yeah, it was a 1 second. It was much different. It felt like Fallout. It felt like what they were advertising, Fallout with other people. I've been playing it with, I know y'all know him, Big Bad John. We've been running around doing the fun stuff, doing all the gathering. And actually building on here, I think, to me, is probably one of the most fun pieces on there. I find it actually much more enjoyable than Fallout 4 had. So yeah, I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I know that the game, like, so for reference of what exactly happened. So Fallout 76 came out and was criticized for not having any human NPCs out there, and a lot of the quest lines were. I always call them tertiary quests for Fallout games. So like there's like primary quests where it's like, oh yeah, this is part of the main story. Then there's side quests, and those are like, oh yeah, these are like you talk to an NPC, they tell you to go do something, and it's a side quest, like as in a traditional fashion. But then there's like this tertiary quests where it's like there's little things in the world that kind of like ping you to do something else, but they don't necessarily have markers on them. And they're not really time specific to anything. Fallout 76 was largely portrayed that way, whereas you could do things in any order at any time and didn't really matter. There was no overarching story per se, at least one that would push you to do it in a certain time frame. Like even to this day, I still have not finished the main quest line because I don't care. I have no urgency to do so. So with this particular update, they added a dialogue system. Charisma actually means something beyond team play, because largely that stat was basically only for that reason, just in terms of benefiting with other people. Really, there was no reason beyond that to have that stat. But now that actually factors into discussions, and it doesn't feel like Fallout 4's dialogue. It's kind of like a mix between 3 and New Vegas. But it had that kind of like okay, you know how like in New Vegas and Fallout 3, you kind of got stuck. Like when you start a conversation, you had to go through all the options and leave before you could just go away. But like Fallout 4, you could just walk away at any time and stop the conversation.
Mm.
So that was something interesting, at least. So
Interesting.
It was a fun way to do it. This is kind of like a mix between both of those. which is enjoyable. I haven't done too much regarding that. I know there's been some technical upgrades to it. Like, it's very, very minor stuff. It's like a little bit of texture reworking. I know they introduced some God rays on the PC version. It looks a little bit different. If you've been playing as long as I have, you'll notice. They've added some little quality of life things, at least in terms of the camp. In terms of how things snap together now, it's a little better than it was before. Lots of new cosmetic stuff. I haven't gone to any of the cities just yet, but I'm just kind of looking at things that I already know exist. The biggest change is like a lot of the quest lines in terms of how they were set up are different. Like if you go to the church, where normally we get the responder stuff. Does you know what I'm talking about, Sam? Like, you get the responder section, you go over, and like there's a robot terminal that's normally there. You just go plug yourself in or whatever. There's actual people there now, and a faction, and they're like, "Hey, join up." And it's like, okay, cool. There's a reason behind it now, and so that feels better. But then some things it feels very different. But I've been playing for a year and a half now, so and I've been playing consistently for a year and a half. It feels different, but it's still. I gotta get used to it. It's only been out for like a week, so I still gotta get used to it over time. So,
I will say one thing that I noticed. Bethesda, they've not been known for having the most intriguing storylines on the side quests or even the main quest for the most part. Aside from a couple of them here and there, like I think whenever I think of a quest from Elder Scrolls, that to me the first one that comes to mind is like the Naked Nord. I will say that early on, and hopefully this is a good omen, some of the NPC quests, they are a little bit more interesting than I'm used to from a Bethesda game, which is good. I'm just kind of hoping that kind of like sticks as I continue to progress through the storyline, rather than like hit or miss, which I'm used to from Bethesda. So I found that was pretty good, at least early on.
Mm-hmm. I also noticed that they are changing how the game is set up. So like you found a particular area that had like a creepy lady with cats. Is that right?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting because I had just moved my base or the campsite over to that area, mm-hmm. and I was like, oh, I haven't explored this building, so I walked in there and I'm like kind of looking around, seeing what I can scavenge, and I noticed that there was an absurd amount of cat bowl dishes, and I was like, either this is a cat lady or something is seriously wrong here, and it's just spawning in a bunch of cat bowls. And as I started going through the building, more cat bowls, more cat things, and I get upstairs and this lady, like, and here's what kind of bothered me about this. I'm like, even if your cat died, what kind of individual, other than a sick individual, is hanging their cat's heads on a trophy plaque all throughout the house? And there was about 24 trophies of just cats that did not make it. And that creeped me out. I got out of there as quickly as possible, but I did take the cat bowls with me because I need the resources.
Okay, have that
Isn't
plastic.
that Genghis Khan did that. He when he like conquered a village, he would like cut off all the heads of all the cats and like pile them into a pyramid as a warning. So maybe it was a reference to him.
Or maybe he saw the future and saw the Cats movie. He's like, never again. So anyway,
did you even see it?
No, not yet. I'm working on it. I gotta have an opportunity.
I'll just let you know I'm working on never seeing it.
The plan is I'm going to watch The Witch tonight. That's the plan. Which you guys have been telling me about, like, 2 years now? So I'm a little backlogged.
Wait, you still haven't seen The Witch?
No.
It's the second best movie that we like, officially.
God, Ivan! What? I'm sorry, I'm going to take a minute to process that. Don't call on me for the next 60 seconds.
He's not really a horror guy. It's not that surprising.
I mean, the plan is I'm going to watch it tonight. That's the plan, at least. So we'll see how that goes. But hey,
I hope that our hyping it up won't like make you disappointed because it's really slow for like 95% of the film.
It's a slow burn.
You have to know that going in. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. All right. So, anything else about Fallout 76 for you guys before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with you.
I'm planning on playing Fallout 4 again. I'm going to try and give it a proper go now.
All right.
I want to let you know that.
And speaking, you asked about Fallout 76, Ivan. Nick sent me a message saying you need to play Fallout 76 with him.
Oh yeah, I'm game. I'm game, dude.
Yeah, so my little issue is that there were some things that I was not forewarned about. So here I am, and I'm just running around, and they got like these random things that will happen, like world events and everything, and you can actually fast travel to them and stuff like that, which that's pretty cool. So here I am, and I see this thing, and it says the Mothman, and I'm like, oh cool, we're gonna go kill the Mothman. So I jump over there, and instead of like killing the Mothman, it makes you run around this field, and you have to kill all these lightning bugs and these frogs, and they give you this liquid that you go and you drop in. Yeah, you drop it into this this lighthouse that's built on the side of a cliff. And actually, I didn't even think about it at first. It wasn't until I was listening to one of the journals, and the guy, he sounded crazy, but what he said makes sense. Is like, why is there a lighthouse in the mountains on a cliff? There's no water nearby. So that was like my first sign that, hey, something's a little awry. So anyways, we summon this guy, this Mothman, and he's like sitting there, and he just makes this weird sound and everything, and he actually gives you stuff. He gives you shit. So I was like, hey, this is awesome. Flash forward about 2 days later, I'm like, oh man, I need some wood. So I live right next to this mountain. I decide I'm just going to go climb up the mountain, get some woods out of these logs. And so here I am. I haven't been in this area. And next thing I know, like I'm just standing there, and I hear battle music come on, and I'm like, nothing's hitting me. What's going on? Is this a Bethesda glitch? I'm looking around. I don't see anything but the battle music, and I was like, something's not right. And next thing I know, I see these two red glowing eyes, and I was like, what the hell is that? I about literally shit my pants there. I kind of like looked around. I was like, is this a thing? Is this thing looking at me? What's going on? I get a little bit closer. It's the damn Mothman, and he was just staring at me like Michael Myers. Luckily, he didn't have a knife, and he decided to fly off. But yeah, that scared me, and nobody warned me that you're gonna get stalked by the Mothman playing Fallout 76.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too about getting stalked by one. It's a 50-50 chance whether or not it's gonna attack you or not. Like I was telling on Twitter earlier, there's like two different variants. There's like a vengeful one and a vigilant one. I don't remember the exact ones they did, but like one just stalks you, and one will actually attack you. I've never had just one stalk me before. I've always had one try to kill me. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, and what was really even more weird after that is like shortly thereafter, it wasn't as creepy because the creep factor kind of like, I kind of had time to settle it in. And I was like, okay, there's just like some strange things going on around here. And I kept going further up the mountain, and there was like some other I think it was called like a flatwood monster or something like that. And it was glowing purple and everything. But before I could even get close to it, it teleported and, I don't know, got beamed up to Scotty or something.
Yep. At least you
so
saw
yeah,
it.
I was like, things are weird.
I never seen the flatwood monster, so hey. I mean, there's more messed up stuff out there. Like, go look for sheep squatch next.
That's actually one of the quests that I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you do go through that quest, you're gonna say, "Wow, Bethesda, wow." they go a whole nother level that does not need to be gone to. So, all right.
9 minutes from Doom Eternal, but shoot, look at Fallout.
Yeah. All right, so moving right along. Next topic. Sam, you brought this to my attention. I know I kind of missed out. So my understanding is NVIDIA has their own streaming service called GeForce Now. Is that right? I mean,
that's correct. Yes.
I basically tuned out after we started after Google Stadia, so I'm like
the nutshell version of why people like this, if you haven't heard of GeForce Now, is they're not offering a library of games you subscribe to or buy. They used to, but not anymore. You just stream your own games for $5 a month. That's it. For $5 a month, you can stream your games. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, why would I want to stream the games I own? Because think about it. It means that anyone with just a basic laptop or a very basic computer can run a game, streamed, mind you, but nonetheless at ray tracing level graphics. For $5 a month, it doesn't matter if I have a crappy $400 laptop or whatever from 4 years ago. I just have to register my account, sign up, and all of a sudden I'm streaming Metro Exodus at 4K 60 FPS with HDR and full ray tracing, that sort of thing, because it's running from the server. Great in theory. In practice, a lot of publishers are pulling out. 2K Games, Bethesda, Activision Blizzard, and now Xbox and Warner Brothers Interactive are leaving as well.
Why? Why are they leaving?
I'll tell you it's because they have their own streaming service.
Xbox makes sense. Let's be honest here. It's a competitor.
Yeah.
No need to put your games on there. I get that. I meant, like, for everybody else, like, why bother?
The nutshell version, I've been trying to work on a piece with very little success so far because not a lot of people are talking about it, but I've been trying to get publishers and developers to talk to me about this because I don't understand either. I want to know, but I don't know. There are concerns about monetization, but the issue I'm seeing with that is, wait a minute, these people bought your game in the first place. Anyways, They bought the game. It's their game. NVIDIA is providing a platform to stream said game from, but they gave you the money already. I don't understand. I'm working on something, not making a lot of progress, but that is what it is. However, there's one more interesting wrinkle. Ubisoft, which has their own streaming option, remember, Uplay Plus announced at E3 2019, and Ubisoft is putting their games on Stadia, which is still alive, amazingly enough. Ubisoft is doubling down on GeForce now and just added every Assassin's Creed game and every Far Cry game. And they in a blog post, they said they are committed to supporting it.
That's very interesting. I mean, just at first glance, first thought that comes to mind, for me at least, is that people got deals for other platforms, like exclusivity, in terms of streaming.
Yep.
That's the first thing that pops to my mind. But Fame, what's your impressions on this?
When I first saw it, I mean, my eyebrows raised a little bit because initially, like the rest of you guys, the only one that made sense to me was Xbox, because I'm not sure why they would want their games there when they had been building out, Game Pass and XCloud, and it makes complete sense for them to move. The rest, the only thing I could think of is somehow they may have I know deals are set in place, we don't know the exact details, but maybe somehow Warner Brothers got a better monetization deal from somebody else. For all we know, they might have their own platform. I don't think they have the game to support it, but they got a better deal somewhere else. I mean, we obviously don't know, but for Microsoft, I mean, it's smart. I mean, why would you want to, put your games over there just for, NVIDIA to make, money off of, the Hellblade 2 of the world, or whatever case they might have over there. So smart on Microsoft's move, very confusing on the other ones. I'm sure something will come out here in the upcoming months, and we'll hear that they're probably on a different platform. Or a couple of these guys maybe created their own. I think it's a big wait and see approach, but it's definitely interesting to see, why they would move not have another platform to go to. There's definitely something else in play, because we all know everyone wants a part of the streaming pie. Everyone. That's the wave, and I don't think it's a wave that's going to end anytime soon.
Dizzy, what are your thoughts on this, dude?
When I first heard of it, I'm just as intrigued. I kind of like Sam and everything. From my understanding, at least what they were saying on the surface was that it had something to do with they were not expecting it to go beyond the beta, because during the beta, a lot of these companies, they were allowing it to happen, but after the beta, they were expecting a deal. Kind of thing where they're going to get paid. So I don't know if that might have anything to do with it. But yeah, like several of them, they're going to be having their own. Like, I mean, if you look at Xbox, like Fame said, why would you stream elsewhere? I mean, but now it's kind of interesting for Ubisoft. I didn't know about for them to double down. I guess that they just either very pro consumer or they just want their stuff, which looks good on both ends. So yeah, it definitely is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I understand Ubisoft. I get their position on this, because if you're Ubisoft, see, if I remember correctly, they still have committed that they're not releasing any games until they get everything in order there. And the coronavirus thing definitely isn't helping. It definitely shouldn't be helping. So I mean, if I'm correct still, I mean, they're not releasing any games, and to them, they need as much revenue as possible. So it makes sense why they would still, like, okay, push their games out as far as they can, release as much as you can to get some sort of money out of this.
Yeah, and that is a very good line of thinking.
So yeah, I understand that.
That is a very good line of thinking.
But I'm just not sure with the rest of them necessarily. Like I said, I think my initial impression may be correct, that it's just they're trying to make as much money as they can in the short term. And right now, for everyone else that's pulled out, they probably have deals to get around it. So, anyway. Anything else before we move on?
No, that's it. I just think it's something interesting that when the streaming war talk comes up, don't forget about this, because it's this weird juxtaposition of PC gamers are loving what NVIDIA is doing, but most publishers aren't. So, interesting to pay attention to.
Yeah. It's a cool idea. I mean, I like the idea of being able to stream as a free upgrade of sorts. But I mean, you're paying like $5 a month for it, and also you're getting the flexibility to play wherever. But it's just, like I said, it's not we got to find the sweet spot of what works and what doesn't work.
I just think a lot of this all just kind of showing and proving to us what a position Microsoft has with xCloud. Like, they're, in my opinion, they're clearly in the lead and leading the pack when it comes to their platform with xCloud, and if you got a Game Pass subscription, you automatically get into xCloud. I mean, with the value and with them constantly adding games, one thing I did when I was in isolation, when I was sick, I had my Xbox controller and I had my phone. I had xCloud, and it's different games on there, and it's just a heck of a deal. I just think all of this kind of proves that Microsoft has their foot on the necks in the streaming game, and they're not even 30% to where they want to be. So it's going to be interesting next gen how things play out. It just all of this kind of proves to me that Microsoft has a pretty good lead on the competition at the moment.
I'd agree with that.
All right, and we'll move on to our next topic. So also, as you guys know, the coronavirus has been dominating the news cycle. But another thing, too, that's also happened is there's rumors and talks right now of there's being shortages in terms of next-gen systems. We know a couple of friends of ours talked about this in the past, but we've brought it up in past episodes about what's going to happen. I think I said this 2-3 weeks ago, was that there was a speculation whether or not Xbox or PlayStation 5 were going to be delayed, at least in terms of release dates. I believe everyone on the panel kind of agreed that this is probably not going to be delayed per se, but we're kind of getting the idea right now that there may be shortages in terms of what's actually available. I know there's been talk lately about, in terms of the available units, there was a Bloomberg article that came out last week that was anticipating that not only the price of the PlayStation 5, but in terms of that there's going to be less units actually available, less than what the PlayStation 4 did initially, and there are just less of them, but still release on time. I kind of want to get you guys' impressions on things in terms of, like, do you think this is maybe a better strategy, or do you think a delay with a mass release later might be a better call, or what do you think is the best option for everybody?
Man, you gotta. Oh,
go ahead. No, please.
In my opinion, you got to get those things out there. Just for the simple fact that they're releasing around holiday time, and if people are going to spend money, they're going to spend money around the holiday time. A lot of people who would have spent it, who would have bought it during the Christmas, Thanksgiving season, may not have that money in February. After everything's all said and done. So whatever you can get out there, it might not be allowed, but it's just more incentive for people to pre-order. It's kind of one of those things where you better hope if you don't have $500-600 right now, you better hope that GameStop doesn't go under, so you can go drop $50 and hold your pre-order or pre-order on Amazon, so they don't charge you until the product ships. You better go pre-order no matter what console you plan on buying. Go out and pre-order, but in my opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to delay the full batch. You can sit out there, whatever you want to call it. I think you're going to lose a lot of people who are ready to spend money during the holiday season, and they might not have that money in March or May of 2021. So that's just my opinion.
All right.
And they got really quiet after that.
Sorry. No, I'll let you guys. Sam, I know you want to go next.
Yeah, so I'm going to back up what Fame is saying. Here's the problem, and I'm going to expand on what Fame said as well. It's not just your console. You've also got third parties making next-gen games that are depending on that being there.
Yep.
Outriders, let's be real. The only reason anyone cares is because it's a cross-gen game. And it's one of the first confirmed to have PS5, Xbox Series X support. Godfall? What happens if that game, if the PS5 suddenly gets delayed? It's a PS5 launch title. That's its claim to fame. It'll be on the Epic Games Store, but that's going to kill its sales. And there's other games for both platforms that, have not yet been announced, but are in a similar situation. They can't delay. Reduce stock? Sure. It's much more difficult to get a hold of them? Sure. They're more expensive? Absolutely. Especially on the PlayStation side. Both these consoles are going to be $500. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. Go ahead and accept it. You're not getting a $400 PS5. It's not happening. Accept it. Move on. But they've got to do a release. They have to put them out there into the ether. There's too much that depends on it.
Mm-hmm. And that's a great point, Sam. We talk about Godfall, because what is Godfall's big thing that keeps saying? Built around the PS5, built for the PS5. So if you don't have the PS5, it's PC only, because if they all of a sudden, oh yeah, we got a PS4 version, we know you guys were full of crap the whole time, but if it's built for PS5 and there's no PS5, there's no Godfall, and they're sitting there, with their thumb up their butt because they only have the Epic Game Store. So that's a great point, honestly.
And kind of like what rebuffing with that is, because I believe the IGN interview with Phil, he was even saying within the interview, because he was asked, would they have to delay it because of Halo Infinite if it's not ready to go? And he was saying, if it comes down to the console, or if it comes down to Infinite, the console still needs to go. So I think that even he's, kind of aware of the situation of having to get that thing out the door whenever it's ready to roll, and not wait, on its own stuff because of the whole third-party situation. They are going to be dependent. So yeah, I think that's an excellent point there, Sam.
And to touch on that, Dizzy, one of the interesting parts about this is, let's say they either delay it, which I don't think is the case, or they have limited stock for the Xbox Series X. You still get to play Halo 5 if you have an OG Xbox. Now, it might not look the best or play the best. If you have an Xbox One X, you're in a better position, but unlike what they're doing at Sony, and it's no shot to them, they're not pushing out current gen gamers. You still get to experience Halo Infinite. It's not exclusive to the Xbox Series X.
Correct.
You can have an Xbox One X and still experience a next gen, a newer Halo title. And that's something I think a lot of people are overlooking, is that, hey, it might be delayed, but I'm not going to miss out on, Halo Infinite or whatever other game they have releasing for the Xbox Series X as a launch title, because my Xbox One X can still play these games. And it's not going to be that bad, because the Xbox One X came out, 2 years ago? So it's still a good console.
3 years ago.
Well, by this fall, 3 years ago. But this fall, it'll be 3 years. But regardless, your point is correct, Fane. Xbox is doing a year of cross-gen games through 2021. I think they said through holiday 2021, basically a year. They're going to do cross-gen games, and that's really smart. In fact, I'm going to be honest, it's retroactively brilliant, if you'll allow me to say so, because now they aren't in the awkward position of, well, we can't make as many consoles. You're not one of the 5 to 6 million that got one. Tough nuggets. You're going to wait another 3 months to play our launch games.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just no, you can still play it. You can still buy it. It's still in Game Pass. It's still going to be there. Sony, on the other hand, is going to have to buy a small amount. Don't get me wrong. These games are still going to sell. But make no mistake, they will. The brand loyalty is there. But Sony is going to have to perhaps accept, okay, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 hits in early spring 2021. It's not going to sell quite what the first one did as a result. They're going to have to be willing to bite the bullet on that as a result of this.
Exactly. Won't be as many consoles out there, so they have to accept the games are going to be, they're going to sell less. It's a great point.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on this topic before we move on? I guess no.
The next gen wait is awaiting, but actually, let me put it out there. This time next month, we should be talking about some footage of next gen games. Let me put that out there.
Ooh.
I want to say that I really like the design of the new PlayStation controller.
DualSense? You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
It's growing on me.
I like the general idea. I don't like... I always hate this about regular controllers, too, when everyone does it. Especially when there's a color coding to the face buttons. I hate when they make it monochrome. I hate it. It annoys the crap out of me because you're so used to it too of that amount. Like I wanted to have something there of the color, but I know it's not going to be there. But that's my one critique. But that's of most controllers that they do nowadays. So
I feel like the criticism that I've seen some people label going, oh, it looks really similar to the Xbox controller. Every controller looks similar to every other controller. Shut up.
It is getting thicker. I'll say that much. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Anchor saying that the controller's pregnant.
Yeah, it's made more for adult hands.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it looked like to me.
I gotta put it in my hands to make that call. At least personally,
Fair enough.
I gotta do that.
But I actually hope that all the haptic stuff that they're talking about with the controllers, I really hope that it doesn't become a gimmick that's used for 3 months at the beginning of the console and then never used again.
I hope so too.
Another Wii U.
Only.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem is the Xbox controller has had haptic feedback since 2013. Yep. Now, granted, before anyone jumps down my throat, it's not as advanced. It's obvious. Sure. It's obviously not as advanced as the stuff Sony is talking about, and it doesn't have the adaptive triggers. But Fame, you know what I'm talking about here. When you land an active reload in Gears 5, you get that sweet little on the bumper. That's haptic feedback. When you are pulling off a turn and sliding over gravel in Forza, that's haptic feedback. That stuff, in a more primitive form, yes, has been in the Xbox controller. So what I'm hoping is, even if they didn't improve it there on the Xbox side, because it's now there on the PlayStation side, I'm hoping we see third parties say, okay, we can do stuff on both, let's support it everywhere, since it's not just going to be on, one. Because that was the issue with Xbox. Only a couple of the first-party devs would bother to use it. Everyone else just uses the stupid Rumble.
Third party didn't really touch it. So and that's one of the things I'm hoping the third parties do. But I just feel like at least at the start of the gen, you're gonna get a lot of third parties not really use it, in my opinion, to start the gen. They're gonna have everything equal across the board, and like I said, and it's weird because we haven't heard much of anything about the haptic feedback in the Xbox Series X controller. I'm sure it's still there. Yeah. I'm just wondering in what form. Is it exactly the same as the current controller? Is it more advanced? That's one thing we haven't heard about is, the haptic feedback. It's like, did Microsoft completely abandon it because no one was really using it as far as third party goes? I'm really interested to see, is it more advanced or is it the exact same as the current controller? Because we all know that things could change. You never know who might become the market share leader. We never know what things like the current situation with the consoles going out. We don't know what could happen. So let's say, for instance, Microsoft does become the market share leader, and you think third parties are going to, continue to use that feature. I mean, it's just going to be an interesting time, and I really do wonder what's in that next controller, because we haven't heard much about it besides the share button and the D-pad changes. Like, they haven't mentioned haptic feedback at all, unless I'm just going crazy and missed it.
I mean, to be honest, like I didn't really pay much attention to the controller. I was like, all right, cool. At least it's the same as we got. Or you can't. No need to improve on perfection.
If it ain't broke.
Like I mean, it's at least with the PlayStation controllers. Like every year, there's a new update. Or not every year, every generation, there's a new update. It looks significantly different. It normally plays better, but it's one of those things. At least on that one, but the Xbox is the constant. It's the same, but they do minor changes to it. They're less noticeable, but provide differences that help, and they it's consistently better. Like if you try to put a 360 controller in my hand, I can't play it. I won't do it.
Oh yeah, dude, it makes me sick just looking at that thing now.
I mean, it looks pretty darn close, but like I was like, oh yeah, knowing the battery pack is not like in line with the controller there, like I don't know where to rest my fingers anymore. Like, ugh.
I can't believe we played like that. Jeez.
Yeah. You wonder about that. Like, how do we deal with these things?
Savages.
I still remember the best moment I've ever had with a controller was the first time I played The Last of Us on PS4, and I had to turn the torch on, and I was expecting a little click from the TV, and then the little speaker from the controller clicked, and I was thinking, "Oh, the future of gaming is now." I fell in love with like, "Oh, that's amazing!" And then when they make you shake the controller to like get the batteries out, I'm like, "Oh man, this is great."
Mm-hmm.
You know, one more quick point.
The tiny little things, they really make a difference.
One more thing about the controller before we move on. I do want to tell everyone to not get your hopes up because of these fan mock-ups. These fan mock-ups controllers look amazing.
Yep.
But as we know, Sony is not going to give you anything that comes close when it comes to their custom controller. So some of those controllers look absolutely amazing, but I just know in my heart of hearts, they're going to throw a sticker on that thing and keep it moving.
Not to go off subject or anything, but speaking of mock-up controllers, has anybody seen Xbox Pope's controller that he was just teasing?
Yes, I saw that.
Tell me that's not beautiful.
That looks amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's going to be for sale.
Xbox Pope always does good work. Always does good work. Yeah. I know. It's really. That was one thing too. I was doing some promo art for some people, and I was looking at doing the PlayStation controllers. I did not read the blog post when they showed off the controller, and so the only thing like within maybe like 2 minutes of that thing being posted, the all black version popped up, which is not real. Like that is a fan mock-up doing the all black version of that thing, but it has circulated so quick people think it's true.
Yep.
And so it's like, I mean, yes, it looks good, looks great, but it's not real. It's not an actual release controller at this time. It's
it looks so much better than what Sony sold, though. Like that white and black just doesn't look right to me. Like they could have picked another. They could have made the thing all white or something. It just looked funny.
I mean, I like it because it looks futuristic. It looks cool. It looks like next gen. It's weird to me that I'm not used to them doing like a dual tone controller. It's weird to me to look at, but it's like, oh yeah, this is futuristic though. It's like this feels like next gen, but it just feels weird.
I really hope the PS5 is tower shape ish, just so I can see the people have a meltdown on Twitter.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say, Fabe. Here's what I'll say. I'm not sure it'll be tower shaped. I'm not quite sure about that, but I will tell you it's gonna be big. But you're not getting that. They are close enough that you're not getting that kind of power at those absurd clocks without a lot of cooling.
This is factual.
I hope it's a microwave.
Microwave?
I hope it looks like a microwave, and so you can say the mini fridge and microwave.
Yep, in the hot pockets.
In my heart of hearts, I really want it to be a sphere.
Yes. Game Sphere.
I would be cool with that.
This is the year we go crazy. Here is the Game Sphere.
Yep.
And I really hope that Lockhart is just a shorter discless version of the series. But I know people don't want to hear about discless, but I think the sad was for them to test the waters. Yeah. I think the Lockhart is going to be shorter and discless.
Yep.
As a father, I'm okay with that. I'm tired of my son at a much younger age shoving all that he can between the disc and no longer being able to use the disc drive.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up here. Good show, good show. Do our outros. James, where can the good people find you, sir?
The good people and the bad people can find me on Twitter at James_S Wilson, and on Instagram, James and then S Wilson with 2 L's. And we're going to be starting something new in the lockdown. We're going to be starting a film club. This was going to be just musicals that we watched, and I realised that's way too limiting, and I can't be bothered to search through if it's available on streaming services everywhere. So, having said that, this week's film for everyone to watch, so we can come back and discuss it, is The Last 5 Years. It is a musical. It stars Anna Kendrick. It's my favourite musical. Have at it.
All right,
Okay.
I'll put it on the list. I'll tell Dollface we have to watch that movie. All right, Fame, where can people find you, sir?
It is Fame ENT 2K across the board. And if you don't want to find me there, 7 times out of 10, I'm running the 2XP Twitter handle. So Fame ENT across the board or at 2XP Podcast. Yeah, buddy.
All right, and Sam?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Samuel Talbert. Just come talk to me about games. Come yell at me for why I'm wrong. Happy to listen to you yell at me. Please. I crave interaction. If you're interested in anything I write and work on, you can find what I write on Windows Central, Android Central, and iMore. I've got a couple of really cool things coming up that I can't quite talk about yet, but let me put it this way. I'll be able to talk about them come April 28th. So keep an eye out.
He's interviewing the Scranton Strangler.
Got me.
All right, and Dizzy?
Well, I hope people can't find me because I've been practicing my best Waldo impersonation. But it is IDizzy81 across the board, kind of like how Fame's is. And then whenever I'm not there, I am probably swinging the banhammer over at the ILP channel on every Sunday. And of course, editing stuff over at Lognet. Yeah.
All right. And I'm Anchorman B2. You know where to find me on pretty much everything at the same amount as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been episode 157 of the Multiverse Show. Thank you guys for tuning in.